Ethan Carter was 10 years old when his mother remarried. He still remembered the moving boxes stacked outside the new house, the smell of fresh paint, and the uncomfortable feeling of standing somewhere that didn't feel like home. A man opened the front door. Beside him stood a girl. Thin shoulders, long dark hair, quiet eyes that looked at Ethan for only a second before looking away again. Her name was Lily Hayes. She didn't smile. She didn't welcome him. She simply stepped aside and walked upstairs without saying a word. At first, Ethan thought she hated him, but over time, he realized something else. Lily didn't hate people. She simply kept herself far away from them. They lived in the same house, like strangers, sharing borrowed space. Ethan called her Lily. Lily called him you. Nothing more. Dinner every evening was painfully quiet. 4 people at one table. Forks touching plates, television sounds in the background. No real conversations. And somehow, the silence between Ethan and Lily became its own language. One rainy evening, Ethan came home late from school, completely soaked. The house was dark except for the small lamp in the living room. Lily sat on the couch reading a book. She looked up once, then quietly said, "There's a towel on the shelf." That was all. No concern. No expression. But for some reason, Ethan never forgot that moment, because it was the first time someone in that house noticed him. After that, little things slowly began to change. Lily would push an extra piece of bread onto his plate during dinner. Ethan fixed the broken lamp in her room without mentioning it. She left warm milk outside his door when he stayed awake studying. He waited near the school gate whenever it rained, pretending it was coincidence. Neither of them talked about these things, but the distance between them quietly became smaller. As the years passed, Lily changed. She became quieter, more beautiful, harder to understand. At school, people admired her calm personality and elegant appearance, but nobody truly knew her. Ethan noticed everything. The way she tied her hair before studying, the way she stared out the window during storms, the way she always looked exhausted after pretending to be fine all day. But he kept reminding himself, she's just my stepsister, nothing more. Or at least that was what he tried to believe. One afternoon, Ethan saw Lily laughing with another boy outside school. It was harmless, just a classmate helping her carry project materials. But something unfamiliar twisted painfully inside his chest. That night, he finally asked, "Do you like him?" Lily looked at him quietly, then asked, "Why do you care?" That single sentence changed everything, because Ethan didn't know how to answer, and Lily didn't know how to stop hoping he would. After that, they slowly stopped talking. Meals became silent again. Hallways became colder. They still lived in the same house, but emotionally, they were already miles apart. One evening, Ethan's mother announced they were moving away because of work. Ethan would leave with her. Lily would stay with her father. The news felt strangely unreal. That night, Lily stood outside Ethan's bedroom door for a long time before speaking softly. "Are you going to stay?" Ethan looked at her. He wanted to say yes. Wanted to tell her he didn't want to leave. Wanted to ask her to stop looking at him like he was already gone. But he was too young to understand his own feelings. So he said nothing. And the next morning, he left. It rained heavily that day, just like the first night they met. Lily stood behind the curtains, watching the car disappear down the street. Inside the car, Ethan held onto the old towel Lily once gave him years ago. Neither of them said goodbye, but both of them carried the loss for years. College came, then medical school, then long nights filled with textbooks, hospital corridors, and exhaustion. At first, Ethan didn't know why he chose medicine. People assumed he was ambitious. He wasn't. The truth was simpler. He could never forget the feeling of helplessness, the feeling of watching someone important slowly disappear while doing nothing. During volunteer work at a children's hospital, Ethan met a little girl who loved drawing lilies on paper. Every time he saw those flowers, Memories of Lily returned so clearly, it almost hurt. That was when he chose transplant medicine, not because he wanted success, but because somewhere deep inside him, he still wanted to save someone he once lost. Ethan became respected for his calm personality and dedication, but his coworkers noticed something strange about him. No matter how kind he was, there was always sadness behind his eyes, because a part of him never truly moved on. Meanwhile, Lily studied interior design. She specialized in creating healing spaces for elderly people and recovering patients. She believed spaces could comfort people in ways words sometimes couldn't. Every room she designed included one specific detail: a small chair near a window where sunlight could quietly enter during the afternoon. Because years ago, Ethan used to sit beside the living room window reading books whenever it rained. Lily never forgot that. She never forgot him. But she convinced herself leaving was the right thing. She believed Ethan deserved a future untouched by her illness, fears, and emotional weight. When Lily became sick, she hid it from everyone. She continued working, continued smiling politely at clients, continued designing beautiful spaces for other people while quietly falling apart herself. One night, Ethan received a call from his mother. Her voice trembled. "Lily is sick." Everything inside him stopped. The hospital smelled cold and sterile. Bright white lights reflected against empty walls. And then he saw her, Lily, lying weakly in bed, thinner, paler, fragile in ways he had never seen before. But still Lily. She opened her eyes slowly and whispered, "You came," as if some part of her had been waiting all along. Ethan sat beside her quietly. "I should have come sooner." From that day forward, he stayed. Every morning before work, every evening after his shifts, every sleepless night beside her hospital bed, he read books to her, adjusted her blankets, watched her breathing whenever she slept too long. And slowly, after years of silence, they finally began speaking honestly again. About the old house, about the rain, about the years they lost. One night, Lily asked quietly, "Why did you care so much?" Ethan looked down at their hands, then answered honestly for the first time in his life. "Because I cared too much, and I didn't know what to do with it." Lily cried silently after hearing that, not because she was sad, but because she had waited years to hear it. Lily needed a transplant. Ethan was the match. He agreed immediately, without hesitation, without fear. But Lily was terrified, not of dying, of becoming a burden. She couldn't accept the idea of Ethan sacrificing part of himself for her. After surgery, the doctors confirmed she was stable. For the first time in years, Ethan finally cried, alone in the hospital hallway, relieved, exhausted, grateful. But the next morning, Lily was gone. Only a letter remained beside the empty bed. "I don't want you to spend your life saving me. I want you to live it." That was the second time she left him. But this time, Ethan finally understood. Lily never ran away because she stopped loving him. She ran because she believed love meant not becoming someone else's burden. Years later, Ethan became one of the youngest attending doctors at his hospital. Patients trusted him. Coworkers admired him. But emotionally, he still carried unfinished feelings. Eventually, Ethan created a recovery support program for transplant patients. Not just physical healing, emotional healing too. Inside the hospital, he designed a quiet space filled with sunlight, flowers, soft chairs, and journals where patients could write their fears anonymously. He named it the Lily Room. Nobody knew why, until one rainy afternoon. Ethan walked through the hospital corridor and saw a familiar figure standing near the entrance. Lily, alive, healthy, older, softer, still carrying sadness in her eyes. She had been hired as the interior designer for the hospital renovation project. For several seconds, neither of them moved. Then Ethan finally spoke. "You're running away again?" Lily shook her head gently. "Not this time." This time, they didn't rush. No dramatic confessions. No desperate promises. Just small moments. Morning coffee in the hospital cafeteria, walking together after late shifts, quiet conversations about patients, architecture, and growing older. For the first time, neither of them was trying to escape. One evening, Lily admitted softly, "I spent years thinking I was too much for people." Ethan looked at her carefully. "You were never too much." She smiled sadly. "What if I get scared again?" Ethan reached for her hand. "Then I'll wait. But this time, I'll wait beside you." And for the first time in years, Lily stopped feeling alone. On another rainy day, Ethan and Lily returned to their old childhood house, the place where everything first began. Together, they transformed it into a recovery center for patients rebuilding their lives after illness and loss. Lily designed every room herself. Ethan supervised the medical care program. They spent years helping strangers heal while quietly healing themselves too. In the old living room, near the couch where Lily once said, "There's a towel on the shelf," there was now a small wooden sign that read, "You are not a burden. You are someone worth staying for." One evening, rain tapped softly against the windows. Ethan held Lily's hand gently. And this time, neither of them let go. Because some people enter your life not to make it easier, but to teach you how to stay, how to wait, how to love someone without fear. Lily left twice, but Ethan never stopped waiting. Not because he was trapped in the past, but because some loves are quiet enough to survive time itself. And sometimes, if you're lucky enough, the person who once walked away finds the courage to come home. And so, this story comes to an end. But maybe, for some of you, the feelings it left behind are only just beginning. If you're still here with me right now, after everything Ethan and Lily went through, then maybe something in their story touched a quiet part of your heart too. Maybe it reminded you of someone you once waited for, someone you lost, or maybe someone you're still learning to forgive, including yourself. One of the most powerful ideas in Stoic philosophy says, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Marcus Aurelius believed that pain, loss, and loneliness are not meant to destroy us, but to shape us into softer, wiser, stronger people. And maybe that's what this story was really about. Not just love, but healing. Learning that real love is not possession, control, or sacrifice without limits. Sometimes, real love is simply staying, being patient, choosing kindness when life gives you every reason to close your heart. So if this story stayed with you in any way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Somewhere out there, another heart may need this story tonight just as much as you did. And until our next story, take care of your heart. It deserves gentleness too. This story is a fictional narrative created for emotional storytelling and entertainment purposes. The characters, events, relationships, medical situations, and dialogue are entirely imagined and are not intended to represent real individuals or real-life incidents, while certain themes such as love, healing, illness, emotional growth, and personal struggle may reflect human experiences that many people can relate to. The story itself is dramatized to deliver a meaningful and cinematic viewing experience. The medical and emotional elements included in this content are not professional advice and should not be interpreted as factual guidance. Our goal is to create heartfelt stories that encourage reflection, empathy, hope, and emotional connection for viewers around the world. Any resemblance to actual persons or events is purely coincidental. Thank you for watching and supporting original storytelling content on this channel.